Hey there, I am the mobstress of marketing. I help business owners stop guessing, cut the noise, and make marketing decisions that actually work. Let's get into it. Does your marketing feel harder than you think it should? Do you rack your brain every week or month to figure out what to post, or what to write a newsletter about, or how to reach your audience? This is so typical for small business owners, especially when you're trying to do a lot of your own marketing, which makes sense because outsourcing your marketing can cost a lot of money and you're also trusting somebody else with your marketing and your brand. I get it. But if your marketing is feeling too hard and you really don't know what to say, it's probably not really a marketing problem. It's probably a branding problem. And here's the difference. If you're not really clear on your brand voice and how you want to put your messaging out there and how you emotionally want to connect with your audience, then every single time you sit down to create some kind of marketing, you're going to have the same problem. So how do we fix it? I promise you, if you watch to the end of this video and you think about your brand in a different way, your marketing will become easier. And that's really what I'm here for. As the mobsters of marketing, my one goal in life is to make marketing easier and more simple for small business owners because we all don't have very much time. And if you're not a marketing expert and marketing isn't your thing, you don't want to be doing marketing. You don't want to be spending time doing it, and marketing can really suck and drain the energy out of a small business owner. What you really want to be doing is what you opened your business to do. Whether that's running a coffee shop or making a widget or selling a service to your clients, that's what you need to be focusing on. So let's make your marketing more simple. So the biggest thing that people miss about their brand is that your brand should be an emotional connection that you're making with your audience. Your brand really isn't your logo and your colors and your fonts and all those things, which are important. It's an important part of your brand, but they're brand assets. And that emotional connection is what people usually miss. So let me see if this sounds familiar. You may have a beautiful brochure that you have created for your business that has high gloss, resolution pictures, and is beautiful and is very informative, and it reads like a manual for your business, telling people what you do and what you provide. And then maybe on social media, you think that you'll get more traction if you post funny things. So you try to be humorous or put memes in there or, try to be really clever with your social media. And then maybe on your LinkedIn, you're a little bit more professional and you might put some stats or graphs or things like that up there. Or your website even might have a completely different flavor than what you put out on social media or that awesome brochure that you created. And that's the problem. Each one of these different marketing tools that you use is putting out a different emotion and a different vibe to your clients. And you're not really connecting with them in any memorable way because you're all over the place. So before you start feeling bad about that, just remember, most small businesses do this. And this is why I'm here. This is why I'm telling you that there is a way, a really easy way, to make sure that your branding is consistent across every platform. And I'm not talking about your colors and your fonts. I'm talking about the emotional connection that you're making. And so that is where brand archetypes come in. There are 12 main archetypes, and there's lots of other ones that you can choose from, but we start with the first 12. And what makes an archetype is that it is universally understood, it's powerful, and it creates an emotion. Isn't that what we want our brands to do? Yes, absolutely. So these 12 archetypes exist all over the world. And we as human beings understand what they are, not because we're marketing experts or business owners or anything like that, just because we're human and we understand it. So if you build a brand based on one of these archetypes, there is one single emotional connection that you make per archetype, and you stick to that. So for example, one of the archetypes is the jester. Everybody understands what a jester is, a comedian, class clown, person who's always making everybody laugh. So if you pick that as your archetype, then all of your marketing is funny. Your website, your brochures, your social media posts, the way you answer your phone, everything that you do to interact with people is funny. Now, not all brands can be the jester because, let's be honest, Unless you have a particular knack for it, it's hard to be consistently funny all the time, right? Very few brands pull it off very well, but when they do, it's amazing and we remember them. I'm sure you can think of some right off the top of your head. But there are other kinds of archetypes. So one of them is the mother archetype, which is a really common one. A lot of times the health industry, for instance, will gravitate towards the mother archetype because we all want our moms when we're sick. But the emotional connection that a mother archetype makes is extreme high-touch customer service and caring. They basically want to make each one of their clients or customers feel like they are their favorite child. And so it's calm and warm and fuzzy and caring, everything. The way they answer their phone, the website copy is inviting, makes you feel like you belong, you're loved, just kind of like an ideal mom would make you feel. So they're not going to post a bunch of funny stuff. They're not going to have a bunch of charts and graphs. They're not going to talk about, mostly the quality of their product that they're selling. They're going to talk about how the product makes them feel loved or connected. I'm not going to get into all 12 archetypes in this video. However, there's a very fun and easy way that you can discover all of them. If you go to brandarchetypes.com, that is my other website, there's a page on there for each one of the 12 archetypes. There are also sub-archetypes of the 12 archetypes, and there's nuances of them. So you're not just locked into one of these 12. You can have a variation of one of them. But we usually start by talking about the first 12 because those are the easiest ones for people to understand. So you check out all the archetypes, and sometimes for people, there'll be one that just jumps out. Yes, that's me. And I want to be more of that. Sometimes business owners or businesses who are marketing who don't understand these archetypes are already kind of doing one anyway because they naturally gravitated towards it. Maybe their industry is full of this archetype. So they might subconsciously be doing this anyway. And that might be the case for you. And you might, see one and it will feel really familiar to what you're already doing. But there's always ways to make it stronger and better and more consistent. And remember, in marketing, consistency beats creativity every time. Remember that quote. You want to be memorable to your clients, right? And that comes with consistency, seeing the same kind of message, feeling the same kind of feeling over and over and over again. So go to brandarchetypes.com, look at all the archetypes. There is a questionnaire, a free one, that you can take. You answer a bunch of questions about your business and you see kind of where you land. It lists the archetypes in order, all 12 from top to bottom, about what, your kind of answers. Doesn't mean you're stuck with the top one at all. It just kind of gives you an idea of which ones you're gravitating more towards and which ones you're not. That quiz is really to kind of eliminate the bottom 6 and dial into the top 6 and then talk about them. Sometimes it's fun to have your team take that questionnaire individually without talking to each other and see how your answers compare. And if your answers are all over the place within your team, it means your brand is all over the place, kind of like I talked about in the beginning of this video. But remember, that's really typical, but your brand is about to get a whole lot better. So it's a good team exercise. You can talk about it. You can talk about your core values and the things that are really important and how you want your customers to feel in every interaction that they have with you. And then you can pick your archetype based on that. Now, your team might not all agree, right? And sometimes if there's a leader or an owner of the business, the archetype might gravitate more towards the personality of that person. But it doesn't have to be that way. And there doesn't have to be a front person or a mascot or a spokesperson or a mobstress of marketing like me. Your business can have a personality all on its own that doesn't have to be related to a particular person. That is really important to talk about as a team and how, again, you want each and every one of your clients to feel. So take that quiz and then contact me. I have a calendar. You can sign up for a brand discovery session, and I will walk you and your team through really dialing in and figuring out what your archetype is. We usually get it down to about 2 or 3, and then we talk about the pros and cons of those and what it would look like if your marketing adopted one of those archetypes. We also talk about your competition. What are they doing, if anything, with archetypes? And again, they might just be doing it subconsciously a little bit, but that's something to consider. And also, what archetype is predominant in your industry? Like I said earlier, the health industry often gravitates towards the mother archetype, but there's lots of different industries that have lots of different archetypes. Like the trades, for instance, often gravitate towards the neighbor archetype, or that's sometimes called the everyday girl, everyday guy archetype, because, you have to trust a contractor to come into your house and fix your washing machine or, add plumbing or whatever it is. And they just want to be down to earth. So here's one thing to consider that is a little bit counterintuitive. If you're in an industry that predominantly focuses on one archetype, you don't want to pick that archetype for your business. And I know that seems a little bit weird, but here's why. Because then you're just going to be like everybody else in your industry, because they're going to be doing it subconsciously a little bit anyway, because that's what the industry kind of calls for. And if you pick a different archetype, you'll stand out and you'll make more of an impression, and it gives you a chance to be more creative with your marketing. However, that industry archetype is still going to come through a little bit in your marketing, and that's okay, because that's just what your industry is known for. So that's why you don't want to pick that one. And that's part of the conversation that we have in the brand discovery session. And because I really want to help small businesses make their marketing affordable and easier and less stressful, my brand discovery session is not that expensive. You might be surprised. You can probably afford it. It's going to give you so much brand clarity, and then you won't have to struggle every time you sit down to make something for your marketing, because you will know your brand voice, you'll know what to say, and you'll know how to say it. I really hope that I see you in a brand discovery session, because let's make marketing easier and not something that we have to dread. See you soon. If you stuck around this long, you have my deepest gratitude. Now, before you go back to running your damn business, hit subscribe. And if something in this video made you think, yes, I need to talk to the mobstress about my brand and my marketing, then schedule a meeting. I'd be happy to talk to you. Until next time, stay bold, trust your instincts, and remember, your brand should be working for you, not against you.